So, this is the review slash overview of the Suzuki GN125H. I decided to make this video because this bike is hugely popular over in English speaking countries, and there doesn't seem to be too many kind of general maintenance review and overview of this bike in English. So I decided to make this video showing all of its features. So first of all, we'll start with the mirrors. Mirrors are decent enough, you can move them around no problem, and they don't vibrate that much. We have Killswitch Lights, the middle one. This is all the way off. The middle one is to just load up your instrument gauge, and then the third setting is for all the lights on the whole bike. I always leave these on. Now we got our ignition, front brake, and our throttle. And over this side we have our high beam, and then we have our indicators right and left, and while in the high beam you can use the indicators as well, and our horn. Now, instrument gauge, we have on off, we have our kilometers, and we have our tripometer, and then we have our RPMs, neutral, and then the high beam, and then we also have indicators as well, and we also have a gear selector. Now unfortunately with this bike there is no fuel gauge, so for some strange reason they decided to put a gear indicator while not putting any fuel gauge on the bike, so you kind of have to go by the tripometer to see how what's left in the tank, and I'll show you about that later on. Now, so on the front of the bike, two big indicators, one single light, and a bit of chrome. Then we have our disc brake. Then we have the standard Sakura nylon wheels, tires. They're not that great. I think they're standard on almost all GNs. There's the size of the calipers there. We have a carburetor there. And we have our petcock. This is the off position. This is normal on position. And then this is our reserve position. So every time you stop on this bike and you're going to be leaving it for a while, just leave it to the off position. And there's our 125cc engine there. And on the back we have our chain, pillion footrest, and our rear shock. And there's our gears and our footrest. This bike also comes with a centre stand as well, which is very handy for maintenance and setting up straight. And on the back we have kind of a luggage rack, our gears indicator again, or indicator, sorry, backlight, indicator again, Suzuki logo on the seat. And we have our exhaust. The exhaust is actually decent enough, it's loud. It exhausts well for the bike. Then over here we have our I forget the name of it, what's it called? Air filter. Then we have our oil, and then to change the oil we also have the standard bolt at the bottom. Now let's start with maintenance. So maintenance on this bike, every 2,000 miles I change the oil. So to change the oil, first of all you undo that bolt at the bottom, and then you twist off this and you fill it up to when it's between medium and full on the bike. And because this bike is an old school kind of 80s, 90s bike, I'd advise putting plenty of AC50, especially on these parts where the shocks are. These always get corroded on GNs, even though this is almost pretty much brand new bike that's always been in the shed. You can see there's a bit of stuff on it. Down with the chrome work, plenty of polish, because these do get rusty. I do have an old GN, and it kind of began to rust here, as you can see, and just at the back here, this bolt here started to rust on the old bike. Horn, steering lock, and we have a helmet lock. And now we'll start with the chain. So chain, you want about 1 inch of slack on the chain itself. And to adjust the chain, you undo this bolt and you just pull it out. But you want it 1 inch when you're not on the bike, because 1 inch when you sit on the bike, it will stretch the chain out to where it has good slack on the bike. So always make sure that there's about 1 inch of play in the chain when you're not sitting on the bike, when there's no weight on the bike at all. Lube, chain maintenance. What I do is every second tank of fuel, I'll put some chain oil on it. So what I'll do is I'll put it up on the center stand, and I get my little oil, and I just let the bike, put the bike in first gear, kind of let it run, and then I just dab the little dabs on the thing. So what will start to happen when you know there's too much oil on it, you'll start to see some oil kind of fly off, and you'll start to see it kind of all gather here. So luckily enough this bike has a chain guard, otherwise all this here would be all filthy, and so would your left shoulder, because all the oil would just fly up into the air and get all dirty and stuff. Here's all the tire pressure stuff there. Now, so how would I check how much petrol is in the bike at any given time? So basically my rule of thumb is every time I fill up, I always reset the tripometer to 0. So I just refueled this bike recently enough, so I know there's plenty of petrol in this bike, and it probably lasts about 4 hours of riding, 5 hours of riding. So I always set this back to 0, and when it goes to about 2,500, then I would probably it probably start to run out, and I'll need to flip it to the reserve position with this top. So now it's time for the review.